Hello and welcome back to the Impossible Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm architect Anna and I'm an entrepreneur on a mission to do the impossible. And this episode is about making your goal non-negotiable. And what I mean by that is it's okay if it takes a while to achieve your goal, but if you really, really want it, what can you do consistently on a daily basis or a weekly basis that will make that goal happen? And that might only be just a sliver of your goal, but you know that if you do that daily or weekly, it will compound over time and help you achieve your goal. So if you are someone who is trying to achieve a long-term goal, it might be that you know that you might need to do something every day for several years to be able to achieve that goal. And that's totally fine. It really depends on what your goal is and planning out how to make it non-negotiable. So, non-negotiables are basically if you are very good at debating yourself and getting out of tasks. So, if you're someone who sets yourself a to-do list and you know there's something that has to get done, but you are good at negotiating with yourself. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I can do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll have more energy later. Then you might want to set yourself some non-negotiables. So I am very good at negotiating with myself. And what I've just said is me. I am too tired. Oh, I know I'll do it so much better and faster tomorrow. I'm going to have to cut it off for today. That's true, and I do make those kind of negotiations every single day because I usually put too much work on my plate and then I just try and get through as much as I possibly can. And I will organize it on the day. I'll organize it in advance, and then I'll tend to ignore that. I'll organize it on the day based on how much energy I have, what tasks I can do fastest, easiest. If I cross them off, I will know it will give me momentum, and I have to make those judgment calls. But if there's something that I know that I need to do every single day, and I've made it a non-negotiable, there is no negotiation. It is happening. So, about 18 months ago, I set myself a couple non-negotiables. One non-negotiable was to post a video reel every single day, at the time on 7 different social media platforms. I have done that. I have now reduced it to 4 social media platforms because, I mean, very little engagement across the board, but some of them were just like crickets, crickets. So I got rid of them, like Facebook and Pinterest. Oh my goodness, I posted every day on Pinterest, and also Twitter or X. Cut. So now I still post every single day on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Again, engagement's very little at the moment, but I'm hoping with this new content shift that maybe things will move. And if that doesn't work, we're going to do paid boosts. We're going to boost posts to see if that helps me reach new audiences in case the algorithm has just like seen my account as some sort of like stagnant thing that it doesn't want to touch. Maybe these social media platforms only respond to money now. Who knows? Who knows? I don't think I'm going to be a viral outlier because I'm not purposefully trying to ignite people's emotions. I think if you try to be, um, you know, difficult, or you try to be very loud in a certain area, then people will respond in a certain way. But I'm not trying to be confrontational, so I'm not going to attract those emotions, which then means less commenting and then less growth. So that's something I'm doing, but I'm also thinking about it from a long-term perspective. So you might ask, okay, you're running a business. How does posting every day on social media help? Well, I know over time, long time. You build trust by doing it because people see you so regularly. You give lots of value for free before you ever ask for anything. Um, you build like a community potentially. You might be able to funnel that community at some point through lead magnets into your own email list or your own community group. Entirely up to you. But it also is just, it's great to practice if you want to be someone who is speaking to lots of people, helping lots of people, and growing. So I knew for my long-term goals, this would be really helpful. For example, one of the goals, I want to write and publish a book, like a proper book. I did sort of create a book a couple years ago, but I want to, write a proper book called Architect of My Life, Becoming an Architect and a Millionaire. Not a millionaire yet, can't write that bit, but the first half is done, and they're 2 completely separate challenges. But also, most books never sell more than 1,000 copies, okay? There's like tricks and hacks to become like a New York Times bestseller, but is it something that people actually want to read, that people care about? So growing an audience in advance of something like that is useful. And I'm not sure I've actually mentioned this on the podcast. I feel like I might have. at some point in my rambles in my first 300 episodes, but I really want to run founders retreats at some point. My family has a little bit of land in Vermont, and it would be fantastic to, as an architect, design everything there and have it built if I can fund it, and then have that be somewhere where potentially it's a business that runs as like events, so like all inclusive weddings during the weekends, but then during the weeks, potentially business retreats. So could be lots of different activities, could be like archery, could be yoga on elevated platforms in the forest, could be, stargazing, early morning yoga, as well as like team building activities, lots of different things, as well as, cool talks and networking. I was like, that would be so, so cool. It'd be a really fun thing to run a few times a year. And I was like, also, it'd be great to have an audience for that. So the daily consistency helps with that long-term goal. If I wanted, which this is something that I want, for each of those retreats to be able to give away one free seat, to be able to fly someone out and come to the event without having to pay anything, it'd be great to have an audience of people who that might benefit. Lots of different things. For my 100 Pillars project, which is something where I want to give away lots and lots of money to very unique individuals that are trying to help other people, then yeah, it makes sense to also have a social media audience for that project. For any number of the other businesses I want to create, like my nanotechnology nails that change colors, not a thing that exists yet, but it would be so cool. It'd be great also to have an audience for that. So a lot of my long-term goals, you can see how this daily consistency is actually beneficial for that. Even though on a daily basis, you're like, not really doing much. But yeah, for long-term trust, really valuable. In the age of AI, trust is deteriorating. And the more you can be visible in the best way is like live streaming, actually. But if you can be visible on camera, speaking on a regular basis, people are going to trust you more. So I know that for the things that I want to do, that trust is helpful. And not in like a manipulative way, just in a strategic way. I understand that there's value in it, and I'm willing to put in the time and effort to get those results long term. So depending on your goal, your long-term goal, your short-term goal, if you can find something that you can do every single day, and I'd say every single day rather than like 5 days a week or once a week, because it's hard to get out of it if it's every single day. If it's once a week, you'd be like, oh, I'll just push it a couple days. If it's 5 days a week, you're like, okay, 4 days is fine. And then again, the negotiations start happening. If you can find something that is literally every single day, non-negotiable, that you know will help your goals, you will be so much more likely to achieve them in the long run. And that's why I kind of gave you like a longer example of what I meant. So, and again, it might only be just like a sliver of your bigger goals, but if you can do it, and it's okay. If no one else sees the vision, if no one else sees how they all match up together, that's totally fine. A lot of the work that I'm doing, they do actually like overlap and compound. Like if this works, it benefits this. If this works, it benefits this. And then it starts to work as a circle. So everything's benefiting itself over time. So if you can do that, then that's even better because it means like anytime you spend energy or time on something, it's going to then benefit all the other areas. So again, I'll give the example. So we've got my social media ecosystem, we've got my podcast, and then I've got my public speaking. I've got the tech startup, the app that I'm trying to build, and then I've got my like high ticket AI training and AI coaching stuff. Each of these things might look like individual amounts of effort, but if the podcast or social media does well, do you think my rates for public speaking will increase? Do you think my authority will increase for the other areas of my business? If the podcast social media goes well, do you think I will potentially get more customers for my app? If my app does well, do you think I might get more authority for public speaking? If my app does well, do you think that I have more to offer potentially to other leaders who are trying to build things? Do you think I have more to offer other people on social media and through my podcast? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. All of them work together and they help each other. So if you can build a life and a business where everything you are doing compounds backwards, then awesome. And also, I think the missing ingredient in all of this is trying to find a way to be 100% yourself. And that's really hard. And I think the part that I've struggled with is being unapologetically myself. I feel like because so much is taken out of context on social media and people just are naturally going to misunderstand you or just dislike you for one reason or another, you feel the need to sort of apologize or preempt things or make disclaimers instead of just being 100% authentically yourself. And that's the part I've struggled with because I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to make anyone upset. I genuinely just want to help other people and do as much good as I can in this world. And I know there's certain things that need to happen to be able to do that. I know to have a big impact, you need a lot of money. Okay, how do you make money? You do this, 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 this. And again, it's still a work in progress. Not perfect, still trying to figure things out myself, but I'm moving forward. With my long-term goals, I think there's like one massive challenge at each step. In the past, that was qualifying to be an architect. Now it is understanding how to not just make money, but also maintain it and grow it. That's the current phase that I'm in. But also, I think I'm learning so many other lessons in the process. And when you really dive into your goal and when you're really, really passionate about it, you'll just start to absorb information in a way that you never thought was possible. You'll start to be like, oh, okay, I'm learning this thing and I'm learning that thing, and that works with this and that. And you'll start to see all of these connections and links between all of these different areas that you might have never seen before. And it is a fascinating journey, but it starts with starting. It starts with taking action. And in this case, making something non negotiable. It could be one thing, two things. Maybe it's just, doing your dishes every day. Like if you're someone who things stack up, maybe it's doing a tiny bit of exercise, if it's just 10 minutes of stretching or 5 minutes of meditation. Whatever it is that if you do that thing, it will positively compound potentially the rest of your day or week or year, then amazing. And it could be something that is so small, but once you implement it, it has like a cascade of positive results. Like I know it's like an equation. Um, if I do certain things in a certain order, that will mean that I'll have a much more positive day. If I am to cycle like 5 to 10 kilometers on my stationary bike at home while listening to and watching a podcast or masterclass or training video, I know that I start the day really well. I am someone who has suffered with nightmares and sleep problems for almost my entire life. And that means that my sleep I can't really control, but I can control what happens once I wake up. And it means that it could negatively impact the rest of my day, or I could have that little reset. So if I lock that into my morning, it means the rest of the day is going to be much more positive than it otherwise would have been. So it could be something like that. There's lots of examples. But again, if you're stuck and you don't have me to necessarily like bounce ideas off of, I love a good idea bounce. Again, go into a chatbot and ask. Ask if you could break it down, like what's the easiest, most vital, non-negotiable that you could add in. I had my social media. I had recording 22 podcast episodes a month for an entire year. That was like a non-negotiable. And I did it, and it was crazy. And I hit 300 podcast episodes by the end of the year. It was tight. It was tight at that one point, but I managed to do it. There was one day that I did get very behind, and it even sounds insane thinking about it. How can that be true? Anyways, I recorded 27 podcast episodes in a single day. I was like, is that actually right? Is that the actual number? I think that's the actual. It took like 9 hours and I had like 2 bathroom breaks, but I just talked for like 9 hours straight. It was crazy. It's genuinely insane. Whatever it might be, if you make it a non-negotiable, you will make up the gaps if they do come in, which is a good thing. So it means non-negotiables will be helpful to give you clarity on what you actually want and how to make it happen. It will give you that clarity. It's like, okay, if I do this every day, it will build over time. And even if that's the only thing I do, even if that's your minimum win for the day, your min win, it's going to be okay. And it will give you that consistency. And with consistency, it will compound over time. And with compounding, great things happen. So yes, you will have these kind of like potentially daily targets, or if it's more comfortable for you, weekly targets, monthly targets. Just make sure that they are non-negotiable so that you do push them forwards and you don't negotiate with yourself when things like life get in the way, because it's always going to happen. Always, always. But you can work around it. Like, I have major surgery to have my knee reconstructed, but I'm batch recording lots of things in advance and I'm batch scheduling things in advance because I know one of my non-negotiables is posting every single day. I don't have to comment or respond every single day, but posting every day is the non-negotiable. So again, think of it as something like that for you. And again, if you are stuck at the moment, you will build up your confidence by keeping these promises to yourself. It might sound scary at once, so you might just set yourself like a 30-day target, like just do this thing for 30 days or just do this thing for 90 days until it has become a habit, and then you can set it as a non-negotiable. If you're worried about like breaking that confidence, breaking that trust in yourself when you set yourself a target and you miss it, Maybe set it a little bit smaller to begin with, and then set it as like an indefinite. I kind of said, I'll do this for a year. And then at the end of the year, I was like, I'll do it for another year. I'll do it for 2 years. I'll do it for 5 years. I don't care how long it takes. Let's go. But that was kind of the conversation that I had with myself. But yes, confidence is built over time. And with it, you will learn to be consistent and disciplined. And of course, um, don't forget to be compassionate with yourself as well, because we're all going through different things and life is hard no matter who you are. So do the best that you can. And this is just one way that you can keep yourself accountable. And if you need any extra support, I do have a free community group called Architect of Your Life so that you can become the architect of your life on School, and it will be linked in the description of this video. So I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next episode, which is about Life Architecture 101. Let's go. Okay, bye.